Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, dependent on wherever it is you're watching from. I am excited to welcome you to the inaugural episode of the SkillUp Edutech Virtual Webinar Series, and with the theme Tech Playground, Learn, Build, Lead in Emerging Technology. It promises to be a great time, and this series aims to empower tech enthusiasts, professionals, and beginners to explore emerging technologies and digital innovations shaping the future of works. We have beautiful and wonderful session lined up for us today, and amazing facilitators as well. I'm also going to implore you that you please sit back and enjoy every bit of this session that is going to be happening here today. It's a platform to get better. It's a platform to interact with like minds. It's a platform to monitor and structure your growth in the tech ecosystem, right? And without further delay, I'm going to bring it to the microphone to give us an introductory speech as regards what this platform is all about and what we should expect as time goes on, seeing that this is an inaugural of this amazing platform. I'm going to bring to the microphone now the program manager for this amazing platform, SkillUp Edutech platform. Please welcome with me Emmanuel Olatunji.
All right, thank you so much. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on your time zone. I mean, it's an amazing time to be here this day. I'm standing here and representing the leadership of the SkillUp Edutech. I mean, the CEO and the senior manager of this organization. By God's grace, the SkillUp Edutech is a very new organization that's spring up to help the tech ecosystem. We are a technology-driven company bridging the digital gap in Africa. And I can tell you for a fact that we've been in this business for a few years. We've impacted more than 13,000 people and still counting across Africa, across Nigeria. And we are intentional about ensuring that the skill gap is helped across the nation. So you are a tech enthusiast, you are a professional, you are skilling to pivot your career into tech. We are here for you to help you to see how you navigate. Now, our goal is to provide high quality, industry-relevant tech trainings and solutions that equip businesses and then professionals, youth, and entrepreneurs in Nigeria, in Africa, and in the globe. So irrespective of your color, your race, or your gender, SkillUp is here for you. And guess what? We are intentional also about helping companies and organizations scale through technological innovations, as well as providing trainings for professionals, I mean, your staff, your team, at least to ensure that they are up and well-informed about the information of the new trends of technology. It will also be good to know that we cut across different form of courses, both for professionals and for people that are into educations. I mean, you are trying to, you're still a student, you're trying to find your way to navigate either to stay in your core course of study, or you're trying to navigate into the core tech skill. Core tech skill could mean product design, cybersecurity, web development, software development, and AI, which is actually cutting the neck right now. We are all here for you. Now, talking about the SkillUp Webinar Series, this is a platform where You come to learn, you come to listen to the best in the field. And I can tell for a fact that we have some of the best some of the best people in the field today who are going to be telling you how they have been able to scale through, how they are able to journey and get to where they are. They are young, they are vibrant, and then for the benefits of the girls, they are ladies. And I can tell you for a fact that they are really good. And they're going to be telling us how they went through all these hurdles, the hurdles of life, and they're able to scale through to get to this platform. Now, I need to inform you that we are on socials where you can connect with us. Where you can have a first-hand information about what we do. And for a fact, we are running a training currently called the Tech Tribe, where you learn. This is for advanced people who are willing to go into advanced courses. So you want to learn about artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, product design, digital marketing, and of course, software development. You're going to be learning the art skill and the soft skill that will enable you for this future that you desire. I'd like to wrap up with this, that the number of people currently in tech is not sufficient enough to solve the problems we have ahead. And without you, the problems of the future might not be solved. So if you are able to see the future, to see the solutions ahead, then you are the next solution. And I'd like you to please jump on this wonderful opportunity and please learn. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Olatunji. That was such a dynamic introduction to what this platform is all about. And ideally, I would just like to say that this is an open call to every one of you who is interested in tech. Maybe you might have the mindset of, is tech for everybody? Is tech a means to cash out quickly? Whatever question you might have as regards tech, whatever doubt you might have as regards tech, you need guidance, you need a platform to connect with people. This platform is that platform for you. So this is an open call to ensure that you reach out to as many as you can, your friends, your peers, and everybody who might be interested in the tech ecosystem. Tell them about what this platform is all about, and trust me, you'll be so glad that you did. Like Emmanuel Olatunji earlier said, we have beautiful sessions that will be, that will blow our minds. So much. And like he had just said, they're ladies, and I really can't wait to hear them, what they have to give us, their journey through the tech space and how they navigated their way through, what got them into tech, and what they are currently doing in the tech ecosystem and how it's been helping lives and changing lives tremendously. So I am going to be, just running through the profile of our first facilitator. She's a dynamic, accomplished technical programs manager and IT developer, widely respected for delivering exceptional end-to-end customer solutions in her current career with Microsoft. She's a motivational leader and an analytical professional known for building strong, lasting relationships, driving stakeholder engagement, and fostering organizational alignment. She holds dual master's degree distinction in computer science and geology from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, an academic foundation that reflects both depth and versatility. An innovative, out-of-the-box thinker, she is very passionate about continuous improvement and the strategic use of data science, analytics, and modern technologies to exceed technical program leadership, stakeholder management, data analysis, data science, ML, AI, complex problem solving, and project management. Christian and a dedicated Bible student with a heart for service, growth, and meaningful impact. In her leisure time, she enjoys traveling, photography, reading, and cooking. The interest that reflects her curiosity and love for exploring new experiences. I have the honor and privilege to introduce to us today our first speaker for this inaugural series. Please welcome with me, Komi.
So much. Almost like when they were reading all of that, I was a little bit nervous that it's me they're talking about. But yeah, good evening, everyone. And good morning, afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. So would we have the slides show up or not? I could just talk about it. Let me just introduce myself and why they work on that. So like he said, my name is Komi, and I ended up in tech, not planned. Life made me land in tech, but just to give a little background of myself, I have an undergraduate degree in chemistry from the University of Missouri in the USA, and then I had done chemistry because in the US you had to do a first degree before going to med school. And when I was finishing, I had a bright idea that I didn't really want to go to med school anymore. More time, more money. What I wanted to do was I really wanted to make money, so I decided to go to do geology. And right around when I was studying to do geology, the price of oil crashed. And so they were hiring people in the oil companies. I had chemistry. And so my first instinct was, okay, let me move back to Nigeria to figure out my life. So I moved back to Nigeria for a year plus. And in that time, I used it to think about what is it. I had spoken to a couple of my friends, and I was thinking, what is it that is very relevant that regardless of how the market goes, I will still be relevant? And this is before all of the tech bro and tech sis phase. So I spoke to that, my friend, and she said, you know what? Computer science is the one thing that everyone is doing and getting a job. And so what I did was I registered with a program in Ikeja at the time. It was called New Horizon. And I started to learn how to code. I used also Coursera. And while doing that, I was like, okay, I need something more structural. I needed more structure in becoming a developer. So I decided to go back for another master's, and I completed my master's degree in computer science in 2019 from the University of Louisiana in Lafayette. On graduating, I had the opportunity to work for a company that made engines. And as we go along, I would explain to you why some of these details are important and why anybody can do it. You know, I worked with these companies, Cummins, some of you know them, they make power generators, they make engines, and I started to work with them, and I was doing IT solutions for them, making web apps. And after a while, I was like, that part of the business needed to go through a reorg. And so I moved to another part of the business, still IT, where I learned how to DevOps for the engines of the car. I learned DevOps for the engines of the car. And so I'm just showing you that in IT, you could do 1,000,001 things. And then post-COVID, an opportunity presented itself at Microsoft. And then I moved there, and now I'm a technical program manager in networking. And I work with Azure Business of Microsoft, which is the cloud. So for those of you who are not familiar, the cloud is pretty much not the cloud, but basically a data center filled with so many servers, switches, routers, where everyone here pays some money and they have their things stored there, and we try to protect your data from hackers and other malicious actors. And we only don't do that. We also try to make sure that it's easy for you to retrieve your data whenever you want, to upload your data whenever you want. So basically, that's what I do right now for Microsoft. But in my career at Microsoft, in my 3+ years, what we focused on is making innovative changes. And I honestly wish we had the slide up, because I had prepared a slide for us. But some of the decisions we make are usually, as people working in data centers or people building data centers, providing space for people to actually store their stuff. Some of the decisions we make, in fact, all of the decisions we make have to be data-driven. And data-driven in the sense that we need to make sure that where we are investing our money in the long run will pay the company. So some of the things we think about when we're doing being data-driven is accurate capacity planning. We have to see what regions use our stuff the most. Where should we build data centers? Like I said, how many users would we have? And based on those numbers, we say, oh, this is a good place to make business decisions. One thing I wanted to explain before now was what a technical program manager does. A technical program manager is pretty much somebody who manages a program. And what is a program? A program is, if you think about a series of projects. So you're not really a project manager, because a project, as we know, has start dates and end dates. But a program manager is somebody who pretty much manages that program, but not just manage it, sets the trajectory of where that program is going to go to. So if I think, okay, right now I'm managing the data center, the middle of the rack. If I think that now it takes us 2 years to build something, as a program manager, I have the leeway to say, based on my knowledge, these are places where we can reduce gaps, places where we can optimize workflow, and then I set the trajectory of where our program is going to go. Okay, so that being said, I want to explain to you day to day how I make my decision on, where we are going to invest and what we are going to do. Okay, so yes, okay, so basically, like I said, for the first thing I think about is accurate capacity planning. That's why I said, how many people use our stuff? What is the traffic patterns like? What kind of forecast models do we have? I think both Emmanuel's that spoke about AI. So leveraging AI and things like that to determine where there's the greatest opportunity for growth. And once we look at those models, we recognize those trends, we determine where we want growth to happen, then we think about building and actually setting capacity in those regions. Once that is done, we also make sure that we identify bottlenecks that can be avoided, and in this new region and subsequent regions. And so, as I'm saying this thing, you start to imagine the amount of the amount of thought process and planning that goes into our work. So that's for accurate capacity planning. So just to reiterate, historical traffic patterns, growth opportunities, and reduction of bottlenecks. Then the next thing we do is risk-based execution. So you have to make sure that the risks you're taking, again with data, are calculated. And not just calculated, you have to make sure that you build a resilient network. So you take enough risks to make sure that you are not playing too safe, but you also take minimal risks to make sure that the customers are not being impacted every so often. So, and the reason why this is important is because every part of tech needs to be risk-based. If you're building a website, if you're introducing something new, if you're doing fintech, you have to make sure that you're estimating your risk. How much is this risk going to impact my customer? And this risk, what new things can this risk introduce to my customer that potentially will change and disrupt the game, the market? And then the other thing is resource optimization. There's always 101 ideas that everyone have. everybody can think about 10 or 20 ways to do things, but you have to also consider your resources. So as a program manager, you have to think, okay, I have 8 engineers I'm working with. I have 2 product designers I'm working with. I have one product manager I'm working with. And so based on that, you look at the budget, the money, the labor of basically of what it would take to build out what you want. And then you start to say, okay, this is important. You start to prioritize. I'm going to do A, B, C. I'm going to leave D for later. And based looking at that, you end up building products that are viable, resilient, and that last. And then the last thing is you have to be fast. How many of us remember Nokia or BlackBerry? So those are companies that were not fast enough, and because they were not fast enough, they became obsolete. Well, I think Nokia now makes switches for data centers, but in tech, you have to be quick. Even if you're trying to learn something new, you have to make sure that you're very quick. Because if you're not quick, you will fall into the trap of the moment you learn something, people have learned something new. So that's something that even at work, the company I work with currently makes sure that we have Fridays. We don't have meetings, Fridays to learn, to skill up pretty much, to make sure that we're learning new things and our competitors are not getting better than us. And so as a tech person, those are some of the things you have to think about. While I'm doing my work, how can I improve myself to make sure that I'm not outdated? And so those are the 5 things I consider when I am actually either we're building a new region as a company, or I'm supporting a new effort. So now, I think tech is for everyone, and I think tech is for anyone. Tech is for anyone and everyone. And the reason I say that is that no matter what you're doing right now, tech can be viable for you. Currently, like I explained to you what I do, I studied chemistry, this, but today I'm working in tech. But then we have people in the agri sectors using tech to make decisions. We have people a lot of the cars you drive now are pretty much computers that you're driving on. And then everyone, even for Bible study, I use AI sometimes to help me break down things. So tech is for, can we go to the next slide? Tech is for anyone and everyone. So the question, I guess I'm down to the question, if I'm in tech, how do I skill up? How do I improve my skills? What do I need to do? And if I'm not in tech, how do I pivot? So a lot of young people call. And the truth about it is some of them are even in computer science in university, but they're not sure what part of tech would they thrive in. So what I would say is that because in my short career, I've worked about 3 or 4 titles. 3 titles and under 1 title is two different things. I would say that you have to think about your interest. So before now, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a people person. I can talk to anybody. I like people. So before now, I was a developer. And what that meant was that I worked by myself a lot. I worked with my mind a lot. But then as I was thinking of pivoting during the pandemic, what pandemic gave us was a lot of time to think. I started to think, okay, what is in tech that I like to do, but not just like to do, is aligned with my strength for people. And that's when I started to think about product management and program management. And for everybody thinking, even if you're in college right now, something I tell people to do is you need to identify your skills. If you don't like people at all, you don't want to be a program manager. You don't want to be a product manager. You don't want to be a program or product. You want to be something like a data scientist, a developer, something that would require you working by yourself, almost in a silo, but spending majority of the time yourself. So you have to think about that. What aligns with my skills? What aligns with my interests? Where are my strengths? Then the second thing you have to think about is what is hot? What is the hot cake? Like I told you, things change all the time in tech. There's a lot of disruption. And if you're not moving quick, people would forget about you. Everybody uses an iPhone now. Everybody either use an iPhone or Samsung, and then there are other phones. Why? Because those people have been able to think about, people are laughing in the studio now because I say other phones, but pretty much you use either an iPhone or an Android, right? And the reason is that those phones have been able to evolve to cater for human needs, right? To cater for our needs, to serve this generation. We have a generation that likes pictures, we like videos, we like content. And so those phones those are some of the things that are on top of their mind. So you have to think about what's hot, what is in demand. What is in demand now? Everybody can say, chorus it, AI. AI is in demand. AI stems from data, so data is in demand. So if you do data science, you need data science to create the models that would end up doing AI. So if you are in any one of those fields, security too, because we have a lot of hackers. So if you're any one of those fields, you can always pivot, leverage online resources, and put yourself out there. But then after you identify the demand field, the fields in demand fields, you also have to look for mentors and a career map. I wish I added my career map to this, but when I was moving from technical analyst, IT developer, technical analyst to program management, I literally created a career map. Okay, I can do ABC, and if I do ABC, this is where I will be in 2 years. And if I am able to get this in 2 years, this is what my life will look like in 5 years. A lot of people think that success is accidental, but what I found out when talking to my friends who were very successful was that they literally plan for those success. So make sure you sit down with a mentor, somebody who has been in the game for a long time, to think about and to think and to identify ways from getting from milestone A to milestone B to milestone C. And then I could also recommend some books at the end that are very useful. Then the next thing you have to think about is low-cost ways to scale up. Low-cost ways to scale up. One of it is YouTube. Honestly, when I was interviewing with, so I did one of the interviews I did. I was interviewing with a startup in California. And then another interview I was doing at the time, I talked to a Google recruiter and then Microsoft, was that I always used to watch on YouTube people who had created so many contents for just pretty much sitting down and interviewing each other. So if you're not good at interviewing, I used to watch it like I was watching Nigerian movies. I would just sit down and watch people interview each other. And I'm like, oh, I would have answered this question like this. So YouTube has so much resource. Free Code Camp, MIT Open Courseware is one. Low cost Coursera, Udemy, Udacity, LinkedIn Learning. Forget there are a lot of typos, and the typos is because AI actually made the slide for me. Okay, and then the last thing is think about certificates you can get for free or for cheap. So there's AWS certificate, Azure, Google cert. If you get those certificates, you kind of improve your resume. But one of the things I think are the most crucial to getting into tech and even getting a new field rising is creating portfolios. It's just like if you want to take pictures, if you want to get a photographer for your wedding, what's the first question you ask them? Can I see the pictures you've taken for other people's wedding? And so because many times when you are still new, nobody's going to hire you. You have to look for those opportunities yourself. A photographer can tell his friends, oh, let me do a free photo shoot for you, or let me take pictures for ABC. Same way with tech. Just make sure that you are creating apps by yourself. You are doing things that just you can add to your portfolio. You are putting things on GitHub. People are seeing that you're actually not just sitting around waiting for opportunities, but you're creating those opportunities for yourself. And then this one is very important because even ChatGPT, as we know it, is an open source platform. You are contributing to a lot of open source platforms. There are so many open source platforms, and what open source platforms are pretty much is free. How will I put it? They are codes written by the IT community where people come and just contribute to make the code go further, free of charge. and they end up being pivotal for the direction of the industry. So ChatGPT is one of those things. It's OpenAI. People just can contribute their code, and then we know ChatGPT is basically changing lives. It has changed my life, and it has changed the lives of many people. And then the last thing is just earn a certificate. If you can afford to go to school, you can go to school. But one thing I would say is that do not think that tech is not for you. You can do it. And if you are already in tech, make sure that you leverage, you get mentors, make sure you leverage leverage leadership, make sure you leverage, what's the word I would say? Leverage opportunities, create opportunities for yourself. For example, now in my place of work, when there was an opportunity to pick up work regarding to finance, I volunteered myself that, I would do it, knowing fully well that I did not have the what do you call it, the skills. But doing the work and working with mentors have kind of helped me to get to where I need to be in my career. And believe it or not, I am still growing every day, and I'm still trying to learn from a lot of people as much as I can. So I once again want to thank SkillUp for the opportunity to talk to you guys. I hope that my journey was inspirational to some, and I hope that I have been able to say one or two things to lead you to where you need to be. And please feel free to connect. On the next slide is my LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I don't mind scheduling 30 minutes call with people to just help them get and do what they need to do to skill up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Komi. That was a very, very, very beautiful session. I mean, very beautiful one. And trust me, I really, really learned a lot, like a whole lot. And so if you could remember that at the time when I said some of us got into tech for one reason or the other, I mean, personally, I am professionally an architect, right? I mean, I studied architecture in school. I mean, I'm practicing. And while in school, I also got myself involved in tech, product design, exactly. And the reason why I did that was because I like the creative space. I might not be the people person like Komi. I mean, I might not be able to have so much conversations with people. I mean, we're talking and all of that. But I like that I like things being very, very creative. I mean, and all of that stuff. So I decided I transitioned from being a graphics designer, created logos, flyers, and all of that, and then transitioned fully into product design. Funny how I remembered that there was a time I tried writing codes. Maybe it started pretty well, but at the long run, it didn't end well. So I decided to stay where I think is going to work well for me. So ideally, it's just best that you identify what works for you, you identify what you really want to do, and then she said something about the hot cake, right? One of the reasons I also had to venture into tech was because I was studying. I think we were having a conversation backstage, and I said I was studying architecture, and I just needed something as a side hustle to help myself while studying. I mean, I'm not going to go hungry, so I mean, I decided to do tech, and it's been a smooth ride. Maybe not entirely smooth, but very, very smooth ride. And yeah, so if you're just joining us, this is the SkillUp Edutech webinar, the inaugural webinar, and my name is Emmanuel Nwoye, and I'm still your host for this inaugural webinar. This is a platform to connect beautiful minds that are interested in tech, those that are already in tech, those that are aspiring to be in tech, and create a sort of community where people get to interact and rub minds together and become the best version of what they want to be as far as the tech ecosystem is concerned. So we're not going to waste too much of our time. I mean, we've had a very, very mind-blowing session from Komi, and then we're having Adiola Adisoba take us in the next in the next session, right? And I mean, it's going to be another eye opener, and I would like that you please, this is still again another open call to ensure that you reach out to your friends, your families, people that you know that really want to do tech and they're really, really interested in doing tech, right? Help them come right here to ensure that they are a partaker of what's going on here. You can also follow us on our social media platforms to get updates on what exactly is going on this platform. So Adeola Adesoba is cybersecurity and agentic AI solution architect at NVIDIA, where she specializes in developing and deploying intelligent agents and applied data solutions. Before I continue, I'd like to announce that if you have questions, please ensure that you have them in the comment section, and then we're going to answer that as we go on. So Adesoba's work focuses on partnering with teams and organizations to build safe, context-aware agentic AI systems while advancing responsible AI practices at scale. She has experiences and then expertise spans accelerated data science, conversational AI, ML ops, and the evolving frontier of agentic system, making her a key contributor in shaping the future of secure and intelligent AI. And also, before joining NVIDIA, she refined her technical and research skill as a cognitive engineer at IBM and as a data scientist at the Cosmos Research Lab. She holds a master's degree in information science from the University of Arkansas at Little Rock and a bachelor's degree in statistics from the University of Ilorin, Nigeria. An academic journey that reflects both deep and versatility. Please meet our speaker, Adeola, a forward-thinking architect, researcher, and innovator committed to building powerful, responsible, and human-aligned AI systems. Thank you so much. Over to you, Adeola.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? I want to believe everyone can hear me. Okay. I can hear myself, but I don't know if anyone can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. You can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Okay, this is echoing. 1 second. Is it better?
Yeah, we can hear you. I mean, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm just echoing, so I'm hearing myself. Okay, hi everybody again. I'm very excited to be here, and I want to thank the organizers for the invite. So my name is Adeola. I've been introduced, and I'm a solutions architect at NVIDIA, focused on developing agents for cybersecurity enterprises. So my work goes at the intersection of developing secure and responsible AI agents, that are ethically responsible, because for cybersecurity enterprises, they want to secure, platforms, they want to secure people, they want to secure assets. So while developing AI agents, as well, how to make sure it's ethically responsible, there's some guardrails to it, and make sure the agent doesn't intrude into proprietary information or have access to what it doesn't is not supposed to have access to. So because I'm speaking to you online, if you have access to the chat, you can just tell me about what your current stage is right now. Are you in tech? Are you trying to pivot? Are you trying to understand how your skills can transfer to building a career in tech? I'll try to maybe look at some of the responses. I don't know if the organizers can help with that, but that would be helpful to just kind of have an idea of who is in the room, right? If you're a beginner, if you're advanced, if you're looking to just pivot with your tech skills right now, or you're just here to learn about how you can make a career in tech, how you can build a career in tech. And I really appreciate everything the other speakers mentioned earlier, Komi. So I feel like we have like similar experiences or similar things that we want to share or that we have shared. So you've covered some of those things already. So when I got the invite, I was told to like talk about emerging technology and how everyone in the room or watching online can, connect and, plug themselves into what is happening. So for background, like it was introduced, I have a background in statistics. Yes, I studied statistics at University of Ilorin. And since we are in Nigeria, I know most of you already know how when you apply to Nigerian schools, they just change your course or study. I had a dream to be an engineer, a mechanical engineer, but I found myself in statistics for one reason or the other. And that actually set a base, is a baseline for my career today. So if you studied statistics, mathematics, you talk about data, inferencing from numbers, from what you can gather from your environment, you know, all of those probability studies, hypothesis testing, and all of that, like I said, were the building blocks for my career today. I didn't see myself in this role today. And like what Kumi said, success is not accidental. It's not accidental at all. So I didn't see myself in this career today, but what I did was to chase the problems, right? To stay curious. And it's not the same thing with emerging technology. So if you're a beginner, if you're a developer, if you're a student, I want you to think about emerging tech as not something that is a trend. It's about learning how to think, how to build, and how to lead, even when you don't know what the outcome will look like. So when I started in statistics, I didn't even know what the course is, what to do with that type of, degree. But when I got in, I started researching, I started looking up what about career can I pursue. And after my degree, I did some internships. And after my degree, I went to work in the financial sector as a risk management analyst, managing credit analytics and all of that. So, because like I said, statistics is about making inferencing, numbers, risk as well. Yeah, you can also make risk. So it was in the course of that, I decided to like learn more about data science because I was handling so much data. And like mentioned, when things are emerging, problem solving, curiosity, and that commitment to learning is very important. Like what Komi said, look, there's so many problems out there, right? And it might be embedded in what you know already. You just maybe start from looking at, is there a different way to solve this problem? And that was what led me to data science. I was working in a large financial service system. I was handling data from different part of Nigeria as at then, before I moved to the United States of America. And like, there's a better way to handle this amount of data, right? More than I could handle it. And that led me to also researching that, okay, what other skills, how can I bring more, automated way or more better way to analyze this data. And that led me to data science. So I started studying with data science, for like a year. And like what Komi said, YouTube is your friend. You have very free, low cost opportunities for learning. I utilize Udemy, I utilize YouTube, even Medium articles. So if you're a reader, if you like to read other people's work, I would say subscribe to Medium. Even I still have the subscription up to today, and some people have done, build solutions or just explain something, and then so that helps me to also keep up with what is happening in the industry. So all of that helped me to just learn the industry, to learn what can be changed, what can be improved, what can be optimized. And after a year of learning on my own, connecting with people, seeking out mentors in the field, I decided to go back to school. That, okay, I have to go back to a structured environment, because sometimes, when we keep learning and learning about these emerging technologies, trying to learn A, trying to learn B, trying to learn C. It's important to have at the back of your mind that you may have to make a decision to, like, do I want to go back to school, traditional school, or just go do an internship or an apprenticeship, or just develop problems or project on my own to help me close the gap. So one of the things that I see also for, especially for beginners or people that are trying to pivot, is the information overload. So sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and that's why mentorship is important. Like what the previous speaker already mentioned, mentorship is important. People who have walked the same line that you're trying to walk, they can help you get there faster by sharing their own pitfalls, their own challenges, what to look out for, what they would have done better. And that was what helped me. And I make a decision to, like, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to go back to school so that, I can close that information gap, right? Because I didn't have a computer science background, right? So there was a lot of things that I needed to learn. So I went back to school, and through that process, I was exposed to more aspect of data science, like model development, AI. So before AI became a thing, I already was working on AI development, chatbot development, natural language processing. So for AI to work, it's more like an human communicating to a machine, right? So natural language processing was very important to be able to enable the machine to understand you as a human. So you're giving the machine instructions, you're prompting the model to do a particular task. So all of that exposed me to so much more in the field. So I studied for information science, and that helped me, with personal learning, mentorship, being a community of like-minded people who are trying to improve their skills. They really, really helped me. So I just wanted to share that background to just, help you understand where I'm coming from, to make sure that even with these emerging trends, emerging tech, these new digital platforms, AI, cybersecurity, responsible AI, and data science, IT development, that there is a room for you. So I can't see you guys, but if you can turn to somebody beside you and tell that person that there's a room for you. Because, like, for myself, I didn't have that background myself, right? But through willingness, through resilience, through, opportunity to grow my skills, curiosity, and finding the problems that I want to solve, I find myself in this space that I am today. So just tell that person again that there's a room for you, right? Um, all right, so I'll go on. I don't have my slides up, right? But I will just share what I have, put down from here. So now the tech landscape is shifting. So what we used to know then, things are changing so fast. And even as a solutions architect myself, I work with developers, I work with engineers, I work with business people. It's very customer facing. So as I'm presenting to you like this, I'm also, sharing knowledge with, business leaders. I'm going into hands-on coding and design development with developers and engineers. So I have to upskill constantly. So look at Google, Gemini. They released like another optimized model the other day. Mistral AI released new models. So I'm developing agents. Sometimes I have to go back to optimize my agent, to change some configurations there because of the new improvement. So that means I have to keep upskilling, I have to keep learning. So AI, Web3, data, automation, they are not isolated. Like what Kobe said, to build AI, you need to understand the models that go into it. Data science informs the models, right? So all of it are all like intertwined together. They are all stacked. And as a beginner in tech, so I'm trying to talk to all of the different people in the room. If you're a beginner, if you're transitioning, if you're bringing in your other skills from your other experiences into the new digital innovation, into the emerging trends across maybe AI, Web3, robotics, physical AI, agentic AI, cybersecurity, we need to understand that tools will always change, but the fundamentals will remain the same. And that's one of the things I needed to understand and realize for myself too, when I was trying to decide, okay, I have varying experiences across data science, machine learning, AI development, research, cognitive engineering. And I'm like, I have similar skills across this, but what do I want to, focus on? So I needed to understand the fundamentals. So you can use any tools. If you're in data analytics, for example, I'm sure you've used visualization tools like Tableau, Power BI. They are all the same tools. They're used for visualization, right? To communicate data to your audience or whoever the audience may be. But the fundamentals remain the same across those tools. So if you're skilling up, if you're upgrading your skills, if you're pivoting, the first thing that you should put at the back of your mind is, what are the fundamentals, right? I need to improve myself on, because you can use any tools. Tools are very easy to pick up. If you go on YouTube, you see many creators showing you how to use all of these tools. So systems are very important. Understand the systems, design thinking. So skills like communication, problem solving, design thinking and systems, and having that fundamentals is very important. And if there's anything you take away from my talk today, is that I need to understand the fundamentals. What are the foundation that I need, that I'm having a gap in now, that I can build on top of? And then you go seek out those resources, either it's by going back to school, joining a community, signing up for more advanced workshops, or developing projects to really, really test yourself if you have those fundamentals, right? And another thing is, you have to be adaptable. Like I said, these emerging tech are not just trends. They are very real. They are here to stay. And the people who can adapt are the ones who are going to, have opportunities to be part of the innovations that are coming up, right? So in my current company, I started as a data scientist. Actually, I was working on data science project, but as the problems coming up, I found out like my skills, are interwoven in the intersection of cybersecurity and also AI development, and that's where I'm focusing on right now. So all of those fundamentals that I have are what is helping me even in my current role. So being able to adapt quickly, like I said, chase the problem. Anyone who chases the problem, right? Curious enough to solve problems. It doesn't matter where you end up in tech. They are all interwoven. None of them is isolated. So for instance, as developing AI agent for cybersecurity enterprises, for instance, when I'm developing the agent, I have to test it somewhere, right? Which is deployment. So if you think, oh, I just develop and just hide it somewhere, no. We are talking about deploying, machine learning operations. How do you deploy your models in production so that other people can use it? So you have to expose those agents to either a front end interface, right, or like a website, like HTTP port that other people can connect to and interact with your work. So you can see that all of those skills are intertwined, right? So they are not isolated at all. So now, what actually matters, in emerging tech, as someone who is looking to skill up, who want to establish their presence, who are like, okay, yes, there's room for me here, but how do I start? Like I mentioned, you need to start thinking in systems. You need to have data literacy, right? Because before you start even building the problem, do you understand what the data is saying? So this is my statistics art that I'm putting on. What does the data say? What type of hypothesis can I infer from this data? And that's when you start scoping out the problems, right? Thinking design, thinking systems. Then you need to build communication skills. It's very important. See, even if you build the most intelligent system in this world, if you can't communicate it, there's still a gap. So being able to communicate it to different type of audiences, technical or not technical. So I know some people like, oh, I'm an introvert, but in tech, you need to also be able to educate your audience, teach them what they need to know. Part of my role is also teaching, right? Interfacing, like I said, is very customer facing. So I teach, the developers on how to utilize what I've developed, or my team is developing, or my company has produced, and then I also educate them. So communication skill, and also being able to make decisions. Like Komi said, decision making also comes with risk. Every day in tech, you make decisions that are at different risk level. So you need to be able to identify what type of risk you want to make for a particular problem that will be worth it, and decision making skills. And part of what the topic, as when I was looking at the team, is how do we now step in as leaders? So as decision making processes also make you a leader. So even if you're the most junior in the room, like my company, the organization is very flat. If you're the most junior person in the room, it doesn't matter, right? It depends on what the problem is that we want to solve. We say mission is the boss, right? Mission is the boss. So even the most junior person in the room can make decision. So, and that's how you position yourself from the project that you take up, from the pivot that you want to make. You make decisions every day, and that's how you. So when you share your story, so maybe you go for an interview and someone asks you, so why do you decide to move into tech? Part of your storytelling should include the decisions you made, either by going back to school, by developing the project that are very relevant to your situation or the problems you want to solve, or maybe the environment, or someone spoke to you, or through your mentorship circle, you made a decision. So all of those decisions should reflect in the type of stories you tell and the types of problem you solve. So I'll round up soon. And I just want to also point out, just like what Komi shared earlier, my journey to tech was not linear at all. Like, if anyone tells me I'll even be here, maybe I can agree like 70% of the time. But sometimes when you chase the problem, you don't even know what the outcome is. But opportunities are opened up for people who want to better themselves, for the curious, for the problem solvers, for those who look at their environment, say, how can I provide value? The opportunities will always be there. It may be mind blowing, right? Even more than you are designed for yourself, right? So I'll say that enter with curiosity. You don't need to have the full picture, right? You don't need to have the full picture. You don't need to have all of it planned out. So before you get to the top of the staircase, you have to climb different steps, right? Different step. So you might be in step 1 today. I might be in step 5. You might be in step 10, but there are still more steps to climb. So whenever you think about how do I plug myself into these changes, this dynamic innovations that are coming up, like I said, enter with curiosity. What problems are very personal to you, right? What are your friends talking about? Like, oh, I wish maybe I have this thing to do this thing, to do X, Y, Z for me better. And you start thinking, there should be a way to solve this problem, right? Then come up with an idea, share it with your community or with your friends. Like, oh, can we build this together? And that's how you start. So you also learn by building, which is also my last point. By building, by failing. Yes, you fail a lot. I think when I started, oh my God, it was frustrating. And you get to a point where when you start, you want to like give up. But that is where the resilience comes from. And it's okay to like, say, okay, maybe this is not for me. Or okay, I'm gonna come back to it, right? And then come back again, build again, fail better. And then when you succeed, you have found many different ways not to do something, right? And that's what failure teaches you. And also, don't build in isolation, collaborate. I'm sure everyone in that room, someone sitting beside you, have a skill, have an idea, have solved a problem that you're looking for, or have an idea that is similar to yours that you can collaborate on. So I want you to build on that relationship in that room, and that's how you grow quickly. Kumi has said a lot of things that I also in my notes, and I wouldn't want to like keep repeating them. But so another thing is to build real skills. Certificates are good, But the skills are what keeps you in front of the decision makers, and even make you a decision maker as well. So along the line, for whatever industry, for whatever job you're looking for, maybe based on the job description, or if they revere you having that certificate, then you can think about getting it. So I didn't start out with certificate, I started out with building. So if you have a portfolio, if you're a developer, you have GitHub repository where you put your work so that people can see what you've built. So they're like, oh, if you have built this before, then I believe in your potential to be able to build something else. So keep a record of, document what you're building, share your work with people, either through blogs, through Medium posts, through LinkedIn, or even in your GitHub repo, so you can point out people like, oh, I was interested in this, I went ahead and built it. You don't have to have all the full picture. You can build the most basic thing, and as you learn, you keep improving on it. Right. So I think finally, I was just going to say that for you to develop your career in this digital economy, for you to skill up, for you to pivot, for you to transition, visibility matters even as much as skills. And you can find that in your community, someone somewhere. So if you've developed something, if you've worked together, and that's why when collaboration is key, people see how you show up. Right? So if you have a project you're developing with somebody, they show how you contribute to it. They know how tenacious you are. They show how you're willing, curious. And then if there's any opportunity, they're like, oh, I know this guy. He's not perfect, but he works hard, or she works hard. She likes to learn. She's curious, and she'll be a good fit. And that's how, the community expands and everyone gets to benefit from it. So you also need to be governed by ethics to whatever you're building. And that's one thing I'm also championing in my work. With the advent of AI can do a lot of things, both the good and bad. So let's developing responsibly, having ethics at the back of your mind for whatever problems you develop is very important, right? We want to make sure that people who uses our solution, we put them first at the back of, at the forefront, put them first. That who am I building for, right? Is this safe for them to use? Is it inclusive? Is there any community I'm not building for? And when I talk about ethics, how secure is the platform? I'm talking from my cybersecurity lens right now. How secure is the platform? What are the governance consideration I need to include into whatever I'm developing? And like I said, the emerging trend around governance, AI, cybersecurity, data literacy, right? So building and learning across all of those fronts is very important, especially if you want to grow in your career in the tech space. So I'll leave you with this: stay close to the problems. Those problems are in your communities, they're in the industry that you work in right now, they're in your schools. Stay close to the problem, develop for the problems around you, and then you can take learnings from the global stage, what other people are developing, and how you can contextualize it for what you're building, right? So, for instance, I talked to cybersecurity leaders. I had to go back to do a short course in defensive cybersecurity because I wanted to be able to think in systems. Like, how does an attacker thinks, and how does a defense security person, like a security person working on the defense side, how do they think when they see these attacks? Just for me to be better at my work so that I can show up responsibly and intelligently when I'm talking to my partners and when I'm developing solutions, right? Understanding what security means for the AI agent I'm building, understanding what safety means, and what ethical considerations I need to put in place for people who are using the agent that I develop, right? So, like I mentioned when I started, if you're a beginner, if you're pivoting, number one, you are not behind, right? And there's room for you in this place, right? Consistency is better than speed. Yes. If you're consistent, you know, you'll find yourself in that place you want, you already envision. So consistency is better than speed. Be consistent at what you're doing, if that is learning, if that is building, right? And curiosity compounds. The more curious you are, the more adaptable you are, the more open-minded to learning that you are, and the more resilient you will be, right? So finally, after all of this, identify one thing that you want to do. Do you want to learn more? Do you want to build more? And create a plan. You can create a 30-day plan, a 60-day plan, a 90-day plan. So your 30 days may be just learning about the industry or the new tech system and tools that you want to learn. Then the 60 can be like, okay, I've learned, let me start building, right? The 90 can look like sharing all that I've learned and getting feedback on my work so I can improve myself. So I hope that this helps. I know if you have questions, you can put them in chat, or I'll still be here to answer questions. But thank you for having me, and I hope that really helps to think about how you can plug in yourself into this emerging technologies that's around us. Thank you.
Beautiful session. I mean, it's such a good time here in the studio where beautiful time with you with that amazing session. So for me, one of those things that stood out was the fact that you mentioned how that you are able to put yourself out there. I can remember that at the time when I started product design, I think my first product design gig was just a very, very simple design. I posted on Facebook. It was just on my story, not even on my post. And somebody that had known me, from way back just reached out. Oh, you do product design now? I'm like, yeah, I do product design now. And it's like, oh, okay, I have this design that I want to do, this. He had to put it in context, shared the brief with me, and we jumped on it. It wasn't like a lot of money because, I was just starting out, and he just wanted to encourage me. And that was my starting point as far as tech is concerned. So ideally, it's just it's something I tell people all the time. Ensure that you put yourself out there. Whatever it is that you are doing, put it out there. You really might not know who exactly is watching and what they might want to do with you next. So, and you might not have it all figured out, and don't be discouraged. Just ensure that you're still doing that. So thank you so much, Adiola. That was so beautiful. We have quite a number of questions here, live questions that I just want to ask. And I also like that Komi also joins me here so that we could have these questions together, even as we begin to wind down already. Yeah, so you could probably say that something if that's fine. Yeah. So first off, first question I have here is, in a world where traditional degrees are no longer enough, how can I combine classroom knowledge with hands-on tech practice to stay competitive? I think this question should be for Komi. I'll take it again. In a world where traditional degrees are no longer enough, I studied biochemistry, and, how can I combine classroom knowledge with hands-on tech practice to stay competitive? Yeah. Okay, so I think what we're trying to that Adiola, would you mind? There's a question for you. What emerging technology do you think will disrupt industries the most in the next 3 to 5 years, and how should I prepare to lead through that disruption? You spoke about documenting your ideas. Whatever idea you have, don't hesitate to ensure that you bring it out full blown and work on it and ensure that you take steps. So somebody's asking that, what emerging technology do you think will disrupt industries the most in the next 3 to 5 years, and how should I prepare to lead through that disruption? Adiola?
Yes, that's a good question, actually. So before I answer that, I would encourage everyone to go check out the Future of Work report, the 2025 Future of Work report by the World Economic Forum. It's up on their website. Okay, so in 3 to 5 years, to be honest, who knows, right? But I feel like data plus AI is here to stay. You know, data, AI, and when I talk about AI, any type of AI, I'm talking about agentic AI, where you develop agents that can communicate with each other to perform a particular task, right? And then I'm talking about physical AI, which is robotics, right? Intelligent robots performing different tasks. We have seen those emergence in healthcare. We have robots performing surgery guided by a domain expert, right? Guided by someone who's an expert at that. So I would say, and data is the backbone of all of these AI innovations and AI technologies that we develop. Data is a oil, right? So I think personally for me, and this is not on behalf of my company, this is my own opinion. So please don't quote me anywhere like, oh, maybe NVIDIA did this or that. So based on my own, it's what I've been saying, even in my work, is being data literate is very important. If you understand data, if you can secure data, that's a good place to start or to focus on. And any type of AI, to be honest, physical AI, agentic AI, and cybersecurity, AI for security, right? AI for healthcare, securing healthcare platforms with AI and all of that. I think those are like the top three for me, right? And how you can prepare yourself. Go follow the innovation, right? What is happening, and you can focus on a particular industry that you're interested in. And I think you can lead with that. So if you're interested in maybe healthcare space, so you can be in any of these industries as a tech professional. So if you're interested, maybe disrupting the insurance space or financial services space, you can go follow that industry, understand what the problems are, and how all of these innovations or these digital trends or technologies can help to innovate and accelerate changes there. So when you go that route, you can then distill them into like smaller chunks of what you want to focus on, and then start from there. So through maybe taking short courses or YouTube, find somebody who is developing that space, or you know, you can maybe go back to school for it, or just try to solve problems around it. If there are any tools that are already in place for what you're looking to solve, that's another thing to look at. So I'll say start with the industry, understand what type of problems there are there, and then start with the smaller chunks of what you want to focus on, and then you can lead with that.
Thank you so much, Adiola. So I think I'll come back to your question again, Kami, and I should go over it again. So in a world where traditional degrees are no longer enough, how can I combine classroom knowledge and hands-on tech practice to stay competitive?
Okay, thank you. I hope everyone can hear me. There are websites like, for example, if you're a developer, there are websites like Eat Code, Code Chef. There are also that you can use to practice and just develop and just make yourself on top, to stay on top of the classroom. Sorry, I'm echoing. And then the second thing is, like I said before, contributing to open source AI. Just making sure that you fit. The world is a big place, right? And a lot of people struggle to be relevant. But the truth is, if you see there are problems, if you have the skill, and there's open source, and you're thinking about, oh, why don't they have this as part of the open source? I would say just go and contribute to the tech community, and just try to do your own quota. Because if you do that, you let people know that you're a problem solver, and then you communicate it. I think one of the things that Adiola said that really stood out is nobody works in a silo completely. Some jobs are more people oriented. than others, but you should be able to communicate what it is you've done. So yes, why it is important to say, okay, you're combining the traditional classroom is not enough. There are so many online things. You should be able to do projects and also be able to communicate to people that, hey, I'm able to do this. This is what I've done, and this is what I can do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Komi. So I'm still on you. I understand that the tech ecosystem can be sort of overwhelming, especially when you have like a lot of things to do. I mean, hands-on projects, you're jumping on this and so many tasks to cover. So, and then somebody's asking that how are you balancing the demands of your current role with the need to continually reskill in an evolving digital landscape, right? I mean, how are you balancing the demand of your current role, what you do currently, and then the very, very need to continually reskill in an evolving digital landscape? Yeah.
Thank you. So I think she also mentioned the future of work and things like that. They're always, work can get overwhelming, but one thing you have to do is always stay abreast to what's going on in the industry. Magazines, Twitter is a good way to know what other companies are doing. Sometimes I would Google and see what our competitors, AWS, is doing, how they're solving specific problems. AWS have been doing this for a long time. We might be better than them in some areas, but they've figured out some things in other areas. So whatever company, you might not work for big tech, you might work for a smaller organization, but whatever you're doing, even if it's product design, you're doing solution architecture, just see how are people, this whole problem I'm solving, how is person B solving it? And most times for me, I learn one or two things. Sometimes I'm reaffirmed that the way I'm doing it might be more optimal. So you're going to be overwhelmed because like I said, I did chemistry before. Chemistry doesn't change every day, but tech changes every day. It's like she said that the tools are going to change, but the fundamentals are the same. So the tools that you're working with will change, but if your your foundation is solid, then you'll be fine. Just make sure that you know what you're abreast, as to what is going on in the industry.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So this is going to be the last question, and I will have both yourself and Adiola answer that. But I think I would like Adiola to do that first. Are you still with us, Adiola?
Yes, I'm still here.
Fear or barrier currently holds you back from diving into tech, and what small practical step can you take to overcome it this month? Okay, I think this person is, I think, so ideally it's just about, we just need you to talk about major fears or barriers that are currently holding people back from diving into tech, and what small practical step can they take, to overcome that, especially maybe, baby steps starting this month and then maybe translate into next month. Practical baby steps that they can take to help them, overcome this barrier and to overcome this fear of getting into tech. Some people have the mindset, oh, you're going to tech, you have to do this. Is for people who are very brilliant, some people you have to stay up late, and all of these things that people say. So we just want to hear from you. What are those barriers and that you think that, and how can they overcome it? Practical steps that they need to take. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a good question actually, because when I was starting to see, the fears are so many. Number one is fear of, will I even get this? Will I get it? What if I don't understand it? What if I'm not good at it? And I feel like it's most times we ourselves, we limit ourselves. Like as human being, there's so much that we can do, that we can achieve. And number one fear is self-limiting one. I've also experienced it. I'm like, this person is doing this, they must be a guru. I don't have the brain for that. Or what if I don't know it? So number one is self-limiting fear. And once we are even able to remove that, there is no limit that you can't, there is no height rather that you can't attain in the tech space. So if you're able to just within your mind hype yourself up that I can do it, I can do it, I'll be good at it. I will learn it. I will understand it. If you're able to just hype yourself or motivate yourself, like, no, I would stick with this. I think that's the number one fear, to be honest. Like, oh, will I be good enough? And there are some times too that new tools or new things come out in this industry, and people are like shipping out things in 2 days. Maybe something that was just released today. In the next 2 days, somebody has built something on top of it. I'm like, how? And sometimes I ruminate about it a lot. How do I even learn this thing? And I will say, number one step is just start. There's nothing more than that, to be honest. Sometimes when I just start and put my hands to work and say, okay, let me even see what is the hype about this, how they are building this stuff, and being able to develop something. So there's something I was developing at work, like a personal project. It has been on my mind. How are people developing this thing? I said, let me just even start. We'll figure it out. I'm telling you, in 1 week, I had a prototype working, and the joy. I was like, wait, so this is what people like. It's not really that hard. Yeah, I had to figure out some things out, but it was still on par with the type of um um lift that I expect for that technology. So there's no advice I want to give other than just start. To be honest, when you start, you know that this is something you can do. You start, you're curious, you learn. If there's something that you're not understanding, like today, I was still talking to somebody and there was a particular protocol for an agent that they mentioned. I didn't know about it, or I've heard about it, but I don't have the, deep knowledge about it. I just went on Google, on Medium, read about it, and I was more informed. And I went back to using that to build whatever I was building. So it's just start, right? When you start, you figure it out, you ask questions, and and the more you build. So once you have a prototype working or something that you're really genuinely interested in working, it's a boost, it's confidence boost that, okay, if I can do this, then I can do the other one. Thanks.
Hello. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll say imposter syndrome.
Oh.
But one thing I would say, my pastor usually say, all die and I die. So either you die doing it or die not doing it. For me, I'm a Christian, and I believe that whatever table God has put me in, that table, either I end my place on the table or God has put me there for a reason, and He won't put me there to fail. So I would just say, be bold. If you found yourself sometimes you're going to feel like, oh my God, I'm with a lot of smart people. But just know if you're there, you're smart enough to be there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Adiola. Thank you so much, Komi, for that beautiful session. We have now come to the end of the question and answers. I know we have quite a number of questions, but we might not be able to take them. So if you have questions we're unable to take, please feel free to connect with Adiola. Feel free to connect with Komi. They are very open to answer your questions, and you can also send us emails. You can send us DMs on our social media handles to have your questions answered for you. So a very brief announcement before we call it a day. So again, this is the SkillUp Edutech webinar, and this is the inaugural webinar, and basically this series is aiming to empower tech enthusiasts, professionals, and beginners to explore emerging technologies and digital innovations shaping the future of works. And the theme for this month again is Tech Playground: Learn, Build, Lead in Emerging Technology. And one of the reasons why we're bringing up this platform is to, we are more than a training provider. We are a launch pad for Africa's next generation of innovators, and our programs are designed to empower learners through digital skill bootcamps, virtual tech trainings, and a supportive network that helps you to learn tech in Africa and succeed anywhere in the world. And we're also promoting digital education, innovative tech workshops, and online resource hub. You can connect with us at www.skillupglobal.tech, www.skillupglobal.tech. Send us a mail at skilluplimited at gmail.com, skilluplimited@gmail.com. Connect with us on Instagram at the SkillUp Edutech, on Twitter at SkillUp Edutech, LinkedIn SkillUp Edutech, YouTube SkillUp Edutech, Facebook SkillUp Edutech, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at the SkillUp Edutech. There's a training that's coming up pretty soon, and it's a Tech Tribe Bootcamp. It's a 6-week virtual. It's a 6-week virtual class, and courses will be ranging from software development, data analysis, product design, UI UX, digital marketing, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and we'd like that you please log on to www.skillupglobal.tech for more details about this boot camp. Thank you so much. We hope to see you again next month. Don't forget that this is a platform that helps you connect with like minds and then help you create a community where you can thrive and get better as a tech person. Thank you, and bye. See you next time.